Be honest. How many times have you started something last month? A new routine, a new business idea, a new course, a new gym plan, and for the first 2 days, you felt unstoppable. Then by week 2, you vanished. Not because you're lazy, not because you don't want it bad enough. It's because your brain is addicted to starting. Starting gives you an instant dopamine hit. It feels like progress without pain. But finishing? Finishing is where the boredom, resistance, and fear kick in. And here's the scary part. Most people spend their entire life living in the beginning phase, collecting motivation, collecting plans, collecting unfinished dreams. But in this video, I'm going to break down the psychology behind why your brain keeps quitting halfway and show you a simple system that trains you to finish anything you start, even when the motivation disappears. Let's talk about why your brain loves starting, but hates finishing. Everyone loves the new beginning feeling. New goals, new routines, new projects. That rush of motivation when you tell yourself, this time I'm serious. And for a moment, it feels amazing. But here's the truth most people avoid. Your life isn't changed by what you start. It's changed by what you finish. And if you're someone who starts strong but fades halfway through, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It means your brain is wired in a way that makes follow-through difficult, unless you know how to train it. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly why your brain quits in the middle and how to build real follow-through, so finishing becomes normal, not rare. Here's the first reason your brain loves starting so much. Dopamine. And quick clarification. Dopamine isn't pleasure. It's motivation. It's the chemical that drives pursuit, excitement, anticipation. That's why starting something new feels incredible. When you decide to start a task, your brain gets a dopamine spike immediately because it feels like progress. Not progress from effort, but progress from intention. Your brain gets rewarded before the work even begins. And once your brain learns that pattern, it starts chasing new starts instead of real completion. That's why starting a new workout plan feels better than doing workout number 27. Buying a new course feels better than actually finishing the course. Writing notes feels productive, while doing the hard work gets avoided, because starting rewards your brain with no pain, and finishing delays the reward until after the discomfort. So your brain does what it's trained to do. It keeps starting, and quietly abandons the work once the dopamine fades. Here's the part nobody talks about. The beginning is exciting. Everything feels fresh, clear, possible. And the ending feels rewarding, because that's where the payoff lives. But the middle is slow, messy, unclear, boring, sometimes painful. There's no excitement in the middle, no instant reward, no dopamine spike, just effort. And because your brain is wired to chase reward, when it enters the middle, it starts looking for an escape. That's when you suddenly feel uninspired. That's when distractions look irresistible. That's when quitting feels logical. Not because the goal is wrong, but because the dopamine is gone. This is why most people don't quit at the start, and they don't quit at the end. They quit in the middle. And that's the truth most people never realize. Most people don't fail at starting. They fail at surviving the middle. Here's the part most people never realize. Finishing is risky. Starting is safe. When you start something, nobody can judge it yet. It's just an idea, a plan, potential. But the moment you finish, now it's visible. Now it can be criticized. Now it can be compared. Now it can fail. So your brain quietly learns something dangerous. If you never finish, you stay potential. And potential